And we are so glad to have you, sir.
Great. Well, it's great to be here. And well, I'm excited to talk to everyone who's joining us today. Do we have the cameras turned on, Tim, or are we doing without cameras?
It looks like I think we were testing before. I think we're doing without cameras. And I even I brush my teeth and I comb my hair and everything. But I think we're having a little bit of a camera issue. I can try that. Yeah. So I think it's just going to be this for now, but we'll get cranking. We'll get cranking now.
Okay, no problem. Well, I'm here, and it's exciting to see what we're going to discuss today. Everyone should say a little hello in the chat box, please. We definitely need to get a couple dealer website volunteers that like to take a look at some websites, give some feedback, especially for the dealers who are embracing modern retail, remote retailing, digital retailing, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to have a great show today, Tim.
Awesome. And again, thank you. And let me just start there. You talk to a lot of dealers. Obviously, you've got a lot of OEMs that have actually sought you out to put together digital retailing practices, and obviously more than just digital retailing, but obviously that's the buzzword now. But, what are you seeing out there when we want to talk about what's missing? What are some of the main things? I know you and your brother Glenn have collaborated together and really put together a package for dealers to make sure that it's kind of a check the box type thing to make sure that, hey, we've looked at successful dealers and make sure you're doing this, this, and this. Could you let's just open it up and let us know what you have found with dealers across the country?
Great. Well, I'd love to really dive into that topic. I'm very passionate about it. And that is that most dealers have embraced digital retailing in a similar fashion of anything else that they've put on their website. If somebody tells you, hey, put a trade button on your website, you get more leads. Great, put it on. Hey, this finance app or this payment calculator or this chat tool. And so what has happened as dealers have rushed into a desire to serve more consumers who are on their websites, they've really forgotten that merchandising and marketing play an important role in success. And the digital retailing company really isn't designed to fix all the problems of a dealership, especially the marketing and merchandising. So what I'd like to talk about today is 5 things in the area of marketing and merchandising that most dealers have missed.
That's great. And as you see, we're going to throw periodically questions up there. For example, I think the first couple questions were, are you presently using a digital retailing platform? Not necessary for you to put in who you're using. And secondly, have you canceled a digital retailing platform? Because I think a lot of times, even before what the present state and what we're going through now, a lot of people have kind of thrown, and I'd like for you to expand on this, Brian, kind of thrown a DR solution on their website, kind of like the Field of Dreams. And, hey, I'm just going to throw it up there. And if I build it, they will come. And you, Brian, we have found out, and I know you have found out that is not the case.
Well, the biggest problem, I think, is that the way digital retailing has been installed, in most cases, it's been another button on an SRP, another button on a VDP, and then the dealer's expecting that the consumer knows what buy online means or customize your payments. And one of the best analogies I thought of more recently was, we're used to shopping on Amazon. And I know Amazon gets used so many times, but I want to use Amazon in a completely different way. We go to Amazon, we find a product we want, and there's a buy now button and an add to cart button. That's it, just 2 buttons. And we know now what's behind each one of those buttons. So if I click on buy now, it's going to say, okay, where do you want it shipped? And this is when it's going to arrive and which credit card to put it on. Meaning the buy now button isn't a surprise on what happens. What is going on a dealer's website, a trade tool on here's some of the survey results in. Are you currently using a DR tool? 93% said yes. Have you ever canceled a tool? 34%. That's actually lower than I thought. Many dealers are on their second or even third tool. But let me get back to this analogy. So a dealer has on their website typically, you know, check availability or get e-price. They have a value my trade, get pre-approved, ask me a question, schedule a test drive, and maybe a couple other buttons. And then they add this button like calculate your payments. Yet calculate your payments or a normal DR tool handles getting pre-approved, handles estimating the trade, handles estimating the payments, and even handles scheduling a test drive. So what they've done, instead of simplifying the websites, they've left all these other buttons, and they don't know why, but the truth is they never called the button something, and they never educated consumers what the button means. So they're deathly afraid if they take away these other buttons that they're going to lose leads. And yet just the opposite is true. When you brand the button and explain what the button does, it becomes, over time, just like Amazon, consumers are comfortable with what happens next.
Brian, I'm so glad you said that. You know, we have it, and she may be listening now, but actually she was on the first Tim Talk ever. Sarah Fisher at Don Franklin, you know, her branding of the Franklin Fast Pass, everything that they do, 30 seconds. I mean, she was way, way ahead of the curve, put together an execution plan. And they have 23 stores in Kentucky. By the way, they can't even in Kentucky right now, and things are changing every day. I don't know what it is today, but they can't even take ups. Like, people are out on the lot. They can't even go talk to them. And she's got some stores that are almost 90% of where they were last year as a whole company, over 70%, and 23 stores. By the way, in some parts, Somerset and some rural parts of Kentucky, because she did exactly that, Brian. She branded the Franklin Fast Pass. She put it as, and just made that a very simple call to action. So they saw the logo on the web, on the commercial, they heard on radio, and then when they went to the website, they branded it, and that was the CTA. And she's just done a phenomenal job. So I cannot agree with you more there, because we know at this point, at this stage in the game, there's a lot of things that, you know, you and I were talking before, they're not even debatable anymore. I mean, if you do X, Y, and Z, I can't wait to hear the other 4 things that you're going to share with this. But if you do these, if you follow this roadmap, you will be successful. So that's very encouraging to hear.
Yeah. So the first thing is you got to call it something, and you have to define what it does. Another great example is Newton Nissan Fast Pass, which is another one of your customers. Yeah. I worked with that store over a few months to develop their modern brand promise, their merchandising. Now, what happens is the Fast Pass message is on the homepage, it's on the top of the SRP, it's on top of the VDP. So when somebody clicks Newton Fast Pass, they know exactly what is going to happen. They only have 3 buttons on the VDP. The other 2 are formless, which we're going to get to in just 1 second. But it's very important that you call your digital retailing process something, whether it's Fast Pass or Fast Lane or Express Pass or Express Lane. The first word of encouragement is let it imply something about speed and saving time. Now, the second thing is that we need to simplify the call to action buttons. So go to Newton Nissan. There's only 3 on the VDP. The first one is Newton Fast Pass. The second one is schedule a test drive. The third one is ask a question. I mean, if you really step back, Tim, your digital retailing platform takes care of talking with a customer, estimating payments, valuing their trade, getting pre-approved, and scheduling the test drive. I put schedule a test drive as one of the 3 buttons because there could be scenarios where somebody doesn't want to do that, and they know they want that car, they want to come in for a test drive. Post-COVID, that will be more natural.
Right.
So the second thing we need to really do is be committed to digital retailing. If your VDPs have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 buttons that duplicate what's inside digital retailing, I'm just telling you, you're not committed. You're not all in. You're half in. And no one wins. No one develops excellence being half committed.
No, 100%. I can't agree more. In fact, every Tim Talk we end with that. We talk about leadership. Now it's time for leaders to lead. And that comes from the top. People want to know, especially 4 or 5 weeks ago when this was really, just starting to get cranked up, the dealers, like I just mentioned, Sarah and many, many others that put plans together and said, this is exactly what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. This is what we're going to brand it. Those dealers are uber successful, but that has to come from the top. If you're not bought in, I used to tease all the time, you'd have general managers and people, quite frankly, come back from your conferences sometimes and our conferences sometimes, and they get all fired up, and then they get back to the dealership, and then they kind of lose some of its luster. If you're not 100% bought in, it absolutely is not going to work. We have a couple more questions up there. Are you, as Brian said, are your CTA simplified? Making a call to actions. Do you have more than 3 CTAs on your BDPs? And then are you marketing the digital retailing experience? So those will be up there. We'll get that data. We'll get those questions back in just a minute.
I can't wait to see that. Now, Tim, what I'd like to do also, you can see the questions, or maybe someone from your team can see the questions that people are asking, but I'd like to get a couple volunteers.
Sure.
In a few moments, I want to go to some websites and just take a look at what I'm seeing on their website. I want to give the dealers who are taking their time today some feedback. So if you don't mind me criticizing and tearing apart your website to allow you to get better, it will be done in a loving way. Now, the third thing that is missing for most dealers' website, and thankfully the COVID crisis accelerated change, is that we need to remove most of the forms from our website. So I want to say that dealers need to consider having a formless website. Now let's wind back to history. Last year at the Digital Marketing Strategies Conference in Napa, I challenged all the chat companies and all the website companies with some data, and here's what the data showed. Buttons like check availability or get e-price, less than 40% of the people filled them out, and less than half of those you talk to. So basically a 20% disappointment factor. So what I don't like is wasting valuable marketing dollars and sales opportunities. So companies like CarNow, Dealer Inspire Conversations, and others took the challenge and started sending me data. Brian, we have customers who've moved their CTA forms to conversations. And here's typically what we're finding: doubling the sales opportunities. And what do I mean by that? If you go to newtonnissan.com, or Newton Nissan of Gallatin is the store, they have 3 buttons. They have Newton Fast Pass, and then they have schedule a test drive, which goes into your AI workflows, and ask a question, which goes right into your chat operator. It's completely formless. So the third thing, and it's a bold step, but then again, dealers understand everyone on their website today is a shopper. They just never thought of staffing their virtual showroom. So we need to remove the forms and start conversations. Let's see what the poll's saying. 81% of the people say they're marketing it. Okay. 62% they've simplified the CTAs, and 58% said they have more than 3 CTAs. And I would actually think that that's relatively low. I would have thought more, 3/4 of people would have CTAs more than 3. But here's the great opportunity. You drive people through your digital retailing tool, and the rest of the people who have questions, you talk with them. Now, Tim, that is your product called Connect Now, which takes a get e-price, unlock price, schedule test drive, any of those typical buttons into a conversation. How's that working out for your customers?
So we started this, and I know, Brian, you've been involved with encouraging us from the beginning. So about 10 months ago, I think 10 or 11 months ago now, we took over, after DMSC, we really went to the drawing board, and it's something that we've been working on and off for about a year prior, but we really got focused on trying to get rid of as many form fills as possible. So we took over CTAs like get e-price, and schedule a test drive in. We did that. We started with 9 dealerships. And in fact, one of those dealers, the Part Group, they joined me on stage to open AAS to deliver those numbers to the rest of the dealers. But guys, we saw 133% increase, 133% increase in lead conversion. And now that we have hundreds, and I don't know the exact number, hundreds and hundreds of stores that are on these trees, it's settled in at about 70. But I would sign up for a 70% increase in lead conversion all day long. And one thing that we preach is, digital retailing, and I say it all the time, calculators don't sell cars. They just don't. It starts with a conversation, including our own product. This isn't a car now pitch by any means. I know there's people listening that use other tools. If you're happy with your tool, I want you to stay with your tool. But having a calculator alone on your website, whether it's our calculator or somebody else, is not going to sell automobiles. We have to create an ecosystem within our dealerships, and that may start in the service drive, but allowing to communicate with customers without forms. People don't want to fill out forms, making it simple like Amazon to where they can just click yes or no. We have seen a dramatic increase. And when you couple that with the DR tool, it's not 1 + 1 = 2, it's 1 + 1 = 10. And I know, Brian, you've seen that on your end as well.
Yes, and we have 2 volunteers.
Awesome.
So Tim, I don't know if you can force me or allow me to have control of.
Yeah, I will. You can just hit share screen. Hold on one second. Are you still there?
There we go. Share my screen.
So
all right, that's good.
There you go. Just hit share screen and you're off to the races.
Okay. You cannot share your screen while other participants. So someone else is sharing.
That's mine. So let me get out of there. Hold on one second.
Okay. And I'm going to share. Now,
there
we go. So everyone should see McDonough Toyota. Is that correct, Tim?
That is correct.
Okay. So here's what I want to look at. Number one, I want to see if they're using any branding straight up here about a new way to purchase a car, a new way to buy a car. And I'm not seeing anything here. This is just an upgrade program. I'm going to shop for a new car. So I'm going to click on new inventory. Okay, so each car has 3 CTA buttons. And here's the most important thing. The 4th thing in our list of 5 things that dealers are missing is they have to make their digital retailing button a color violator. So for McDonough Toyota, their website is red. Most Toyota dealers are red. There should be one button that's green. We call it a color violator because it stands out. And you'll notice that in this current design, the website is red and black. So no button stands out. So what does the consumer do? Well, they're really not sure what to do. Now, here's what I'm seeing. They haven't called their process anything. It's just lower your e-price, and nobody knows what an e-price is because it says the MSRP and then the value price. And so there's a reference to lower your e-price, but really, if that was true, you would say lower your value price or get a lower price. But let's just see, I'm gonna go into the car now, and this is a Dealer On website. It has nothing to do with Dealer On, I'm just letting you know what it looks like. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons. Now, again, I do, oh, and there's a 6th up here. I knew it was here. Now, I want to be very clear. On every single page is Car Now Chat. There's absolutely no reason for Text Us to be here. This is another wasted CTA. This confirm availability button it doesn't even stand out, and it is the worst performing form on any dealer's website. It's somewhat insulting. Most consumers know that they can go to Amazon, and if there's 3 straws left, Amazon will say 3 straws left. So it's kind of funny that in today's world, you have 50 pictures and descriptions and prices, and okay, you know it's in stock. This was just an old broken conversation about leads. So lower your e-price, let's click it. Okay, there's a form that stopped all engagement. Value your trade. It took me off the VDP, broke my train of thought. Get pre-approved instantly. Takes me yet to a completely and ugly form process. Again, this I'm gonna have to go backwards on, and then Text Us. So here's a perfect example. Here's the message, whether people wanna hear it or not, is that I do not wanna serve you now. You can come to my website, and if you want this car, I'm not gonna talk to you about it. I'm not gonna engage you with it. You see, lower your e-price, value my trade, and get pre-approved instantly are really all part of a digital retailing experience. Text Us is redundant. Confirm availability is just a no-no. And so here's a dealer who doesn't really have digital retailing in place, does not want to serve. So this virtual showroom is abandoned. It's the equivalent of someone walking in the front door today of a dealership, and the receptionist says, "Can I help you?" And yes, I'm interested in this Sienna. And the receptionist says, "Yeah, sit in the chair. In the next few hours, somebody will get back to you." And we say, "Brian, well, that's stupid. We don't do that." And it's like, yeah, because you built your business to serve. This website says, "I'd rather chase than serve." And of course, we need to just re-examine. And then we have another one, Aristocrat Motors. Thank you for being a volunteer. Let's see what I want to buy today. Okay, so let's go buy a Mercedes, and let's buy a G-Class. Carrie would really like that. And okay, so let's not buy a G-Class because there is no good photos there. So I wanted to see, let's just buy this one here. All right, let's see, simple, clean website, MSRP only. Let's see. Request e-price form, get info form, save the vehicle, saved. Okay, it didn't ask me to do anything else. Make an offer form, scheduled test drive. Isn't that funny? You can't even talk to somebody about that. All of these buttons, this is a dealer who doesn't want to show anything less than MSRP, okay? But they're basically saying, I can't engage this person. I'd rather chase them. Get financing, let's see, takes them off into another experience here. Apply now, takes them, wow, that's even weirder. Hold on, trying to figure what I just typed. So let me see. I typed in apply now, and it went into, okay, so that's just a broken button. So here's what I wonder. In a COVID compliant world, we have people coming to our website. Why wouldn't you use a product like Connect Now? And when somebody wanted an e-price, "Hi, this is Brian from Aristocrat Motors. Who am I speaking with?" "Oh, Tim. Hey, great, Tim. What's your last name?" "Okay, Cox, wonderful. I see you're interested in a beautiful red car. What are some questions you have?" "Well, I'd like to understand, what I could buy that car for." "Well, super. Let me ask you a few questions. Are you an existing Mercedes-Benz owner? Blah, 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 blah. Do you have something on a trade? Blah, blah, blah. Hey, I'd like to connect you with our sales manager to go over the latest discounts. What's your mobile number? I'd like to text you a connection with our sales manager or connect you with our sales manager. Here's what happens. When you have a conversation, 8 out of 10 people give you their first name, last name, and their most valuable, their mobile number, allowing you to text them and communicate with them. This is another example of a website that says, I'd rather chase people in the BDC than serve them. Now let's go to a better example. So Newton Nissan, and I go to new inventory. Okay, so there's the Fast Pass on the home page. Let's pick an Altima. Okay. There we go. Now notice, there's the Fast Pass, the fastest and easiest way to buy your car online. It's very clear what that button is doing. 3 buttons on the SRP. I'm going to go into the VDP. Notice the photo overlays. This is super important. This is all part of our checklist. We have a coaching program for dealers. Okay. Photo overlay. So when cars get syndicated, they know. Newton Fast Pass starts the digital retailing experience. Schedule a test drive starts the AI tree, allowing the consumer to pick a date and time, collects all their information, formless, it's a conversation, asks us a question, boom. This is a formless website, and they have doubled their sales opportunities by removing these tools. So there was a poll here. Do you have a form fill present on your website? 80% said yes. Okay. Does the trade-in button interrupt the customer's chain of thought by taking them to a new page? It's about a 50-50. You see, we need to rethink our websites. Tim, did anybody in the chat box volunteer their website? Anybody else wanted to take a look?
Let me see here. I just saw those 2.
Okay.
No, there's airhyundai.com.
Okay.
Air Hyundai, AIR-Hyundai.com.
Okay.
You know, Brian, as you're pulling that up, it's discouraging, but yet it's encouraging that with just a few, and listen, this isn't this, you can clearly see if we take our car guy and girl hat off for just a second and see through the lens of a consumer the way they see your website, and not throwing stones, and thank you so much for the people that volunteer at their website. It's an easy fix. It's an easy fix. But now I clearly see when we give you numbers like 133% lead conversion increase. Now we have almost 1,000 dealers live with Convert Now and a 70% increase. You can see why consumers respond differently, because quite frankly, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? Other than filling out 4 forms to get the same information. So just very, again, encouraging there. All the way around. So let's look at Air Hyundai. Go ahead.
This is Airport Hyundai, and their VDP on my screen looks a little jacked up. Let me try another car. So the SRPs. Let's think about this now. We have get today's price, which should be a conversation. This is a standard ugly form. $40 for a test drive. Where does that take me? Okay, nothing is happening there. Let's try this button. Okay, waiting. Okay, nothing's happening with that. This banner up here, okay, and shopper assurance. Again, I'm not seeing anything for digital retailing here, but let's click this. I'm going to the VDP now. Okay, so I have so at the top, it's focusing on the affordability of the car, which I don't have a problem. Here are all the photos. So what are people interested in? What does this vehicle look like? And then this overlay is just a little different. I'm just getting used to it. I don't think I've seen this. Whose website is this? This is maybe a newdealer.com theme. Okay, so this is a tool which is just personalized payments, so they haven't named it. And then let's see what's down here. This is the standard dealer.com block, right? So get today's price, it should be a form, okay? Get pre-approved, takes them off the page when it's already part of this experience at the top. Okay, things are moving around here. Ask we'll bring up that ugly form. So we'll test drive, bring up the ugly form. Oh, hold on. Now this is going to take them off to a different experience. So here's what I'm saying. This dealer has the CarNow chat on it. I would take all of these standard dealer.com buttons and using Connect Now, turn them into a conversation. Now watch what we are. We are in a blue world. Let's go to the home page. This is a light blue theme or a blue-ish theme. And notice that none of the primary call to action buttons were color violators. So get today's price, as we know, is not what you really want them to do. You don't want to stop them. That can be a conversation. And now when I'm in here, it's not called something, send us a quote. I want this to be a color violator for the site. This calculate payment, which is, I'm pretty sure the accelerate tool should be a color violator. The bigger problem is that this layout seems to be taking me all over the place. So I'm not sure if I understand this bouncing up and down. So I'm not sure if putting this huge block up here, let me hit close. I can't hit close. But I would clean up this block. If this is accelerate, make this the color violator and have two other buttons, and they can be blue buttons, but the primary one should be green. Now the fourth thing I told you about was the color. The fifth is marketing. And so here's an example. Joseph's Hyundai didn't call it. It's just calculate or personalized payments. I want it more than just being about payments. I want it to be, hey, if you do the work, we're going to save you time. Meaning consumers want faster, easier, mostly online to save them time. And now in COVID, it's faster, easier, mostly online because I can't come in to buy. And so I would like you to call it something, Fast Pass, Fast Lane, Express Pass, Express Lane, or whatever you'd like. I'd like you to get a video series together that demonstrates how consumers can save time, how it's faster, easier, mostly online to buy their next car. And then I need you to get it out in video. Now, what type of video? Someone visits your website, you can follow them with YouTube pre-roll. You can use Facebook video. But I want to tell you that so many people are on the news right now, and I think we're going to be in a heavy news cycle for a few months. I'd be contacting Effective, which is the new name for Comcast Spotlight, your Spectrum Reach, and Cox Media stations, and talk to them about linear and OTT solutions. OTT still at overall viewing is not more than, I think, 30% of all TV time viewing, but it is an important younger segment. And I want you to get a video marketing strategy. So if you said it's Joseph's Airport Hyundai Fast Pass or Fast Lane, the fastest and easiest way to buy your next car, I want the videos to show how that's done. Now, those of you who want to see some examples of some great commercials, if you go to my YouTube channel, and or you can watch some church videos too. But I posted automotive retailing video compilation, and let me copy the link and I'll put it in the chat box. But this is a compilation of lots of videos. Let me go to the chat box here, Q&A. Let's see if I can do that. Oh, I'm having a little problem with that. Okay. But
I'll make sure we send it out to everybody.
Send it out to everyone.
Yeah, we'll send it to everybody.
We can have that. Oh, here it is. Okay. To all panelists and attendees. Here we go. That's a great compilation of videos for people. Okay. Jamie Heb asked the question, what do you think about CTAs to receive a lower price from customer experience? Think Amazon, Nike, Zappos. Do you think the best price should be the one the prospect sees first? Okay, this is an age-old question, and this is a question of, one price, best price up front. there are a lot of dealers who have map pricing problems, okay? Map pricing problems. And they can't show their low price online, okay? And so when you have, Wilsonville Subaru. I'm going to show you, there's some people say, Brian, well, we can't show our prices. We're under map pricing rules. I'm going to show you an amazing decision that this dealer made. Now, let me explain. This is a one-price dealer, but they cannot show their low price online because Subaru has map pricing, okay? Now, this is a brilliant example, and as Tim said, it's not about just selling a car now product. It's about going formless. So they had marketed their business for years as the home of the no bull price. Whether you like that or not, that's not important. That's what they chose. And then they were always showing the best price first. And then Subaru said, no, where's map pricing? You can't show your no bull price. They were at a dilemma. So last year at the DMSC conference, Paul Schnell heard this and went to his chat provider and said, I need a solution. Him and the general manager worked this out beautifully. They just reduced everything to 2 buttons, and I know both are green, and it's a unique situation. But the only 2 buttons on this VDP are get no bull price right now or email me the no bull price. The most amazing thing is that the email leads didn't go down. What blew up was getting the no bull price right now. And this goes right to their BDC normal during business hours. The person is trained to get the person's name and phone number. So we have the best contact information and gives the person the price. Plus that includes getting permission to text. You'll notice that the chat is persistent, just like the Car Now chat. This just happens to be conversations chat. The reason why I bring this up is there's no reason to have an Ask Us button if, you know, chat is persistent. So for the person who asked the question, do I have to show the best price? I'm not saying if you feel you have to unlock the price. Now, I'm not a fan of it. But if you feel because of map pricing you have to, guess what? You still don't need a form. You just make it a conversation. So, Tim, the 5 things is, let me summarize them. Number 1, you have to call it something, fast pass, fast lane, and be very clear what it does. Number 2, you have to reduce the CTAs. Typically no more than 3.
Yeah.
You have to remove forms and go to a formless design and engage people when they're on their website. Number 4, the digital retailing process should be a color violator. Like I showed you with Newton Nissan, it's very clear on a red website, same with Toyota, on a red website, what they want the consumer to do. And it's very clear from their branding and their commercials that FastPass allows them to calculate their payments, get their trade-in value, and get pre-approved online. And then the 5th thing is you got to tell the story in video. And I gave you the YouTube channel to look at some of the best commercials. There's about 15 of them in this video. And when you put these 5 things together on top of the technical support you get from your digital retailing provider and strong leadership, innovation, you could really change the entire business model, lower your labor costs, be more efficient, increase customer satisfaction. The overall message here is, will you stop chasing customers and will you decide to serve them? Will you stop chasing and decide to serve them? That's going to be a fundamental problem. You don't need digital retailing to serve your customers. You can just move your website to an engagement platform and sell more cars in a digital age.
Yeah. Yeah. Brian, I can't agree more. Just looking at some of the questions coming in, Jeff Baker, I see BettonBakerHonda.com is just been a big supporter of ours. And I don't know if you have time to look at that website, but I think we have
Jeff Baker Honda.
Betton Baker, Betten, Baker, Baker, Honda.com. Betton, Betten, Baker, Baker, Honda.com.
And they're friends with you, Tim?
They are our clients, yes.
Okay, great. So I'll try to be really hard on them then. Okay, so
That's
let's
good.
see. We have the Bet and Baker at home, safe, simple, sanitary. Okay, this is definitely a great pop-up to remind people that there's a new way to buy a car. So that's awesome. Let's go shop for a new car. I always like to look for new cars. Okay, and so we have a gate here. I'm gonna exit the gate and see what happens. And I'm gonna go find a car. I like this. Look, one call to action, calculate my payment. I'm gonna assume that I can go see the car, vehicle details. Now this is interesting site. Whose site is this? Okay.
This is, Brian, this is actually, they have search now. This is a product of ours that allows them to search this way. So this is a part of our digital retailing platform. Again, I just, Jeff's on every week, I believe, and he asked to look at his website. So I just wanted to make sure that you tried to beat it up, but that is our overlay on the website.
Oh, you dirty dog. Okay, let's look at the native website platform. So we have calculate my payments, clear call to action, color Violator, perfect, get e-price, probably going to pop up a form. Yeah, I hate that. Okay.
So Jeff, we'll talk to you about it, and it's actually convert now. We'll see if we can integrate a few stores on those AI flows instead of form
schedule a test drive. Now, this schedule a test drive is an AI flow, so this is good. We need to fix that. Let's go into the VDP now. Okay. So what am I seeing? I'm seeing time to trade. So I am not happy that we haven't called the process something. And then this looks like a CTA minefield here. So value my trade, takes me off the VDP, breaks my line of concentration, get pre-approved. See, I'm not committed to digital retailing here. I'm committed to fill every space with a button, get a lease payment. Okay, this is again, form gated here. No explanation why. Confirm availability. Okay, so what we're doing here is really putting up a lot of blocks. And then here's calculate my payments. Now, this is what we really wanted. This is really what we want. But we have scheduled test drive here and scheduled test drive here. So duplicate CTAs. Okay. So this is a perfect example of an opportunity to simplify. This top green banner should be about your system, like we're saying, the Bet and Baker Honda fast lane technology, value trade, estimate payments. I love that green, but look, you buried this. There's no commitment here to this process. You put all 1995 forms in here. So if you made it simple, calculate my payments, ask me a question, schedule a test drive. See these three buttons right here? That's all you need. All these other buttons, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 call to action buttons. Okay, way too many. This is a huge opportunity. If you're doing well online in this current layout, imagine what's going to happen. I would imagine you could double your sales opportunities.
Yeah, in fact, I know, Jeff, you're listening. Please reach out to Roxanne or Drew, and that's something that we could probably fix by the end of the day. All we need to do is rearrange those deck chairs. If you'd like to take Brian's suggestions, we can handle that for you and move those around and then condense those call to actions. And then we'll also talk about getting Convert Now in there and replace some of those AI forms as well.
That's right. And I see that this is a DEP dealer process website. This is another dangerous thing. Message me, takes me off. I'm persistent on with chat. And I understand this is Facebook Messenger. But if somebody is on your site and you have persistent chat and chat built in with trade tools and other things, I wouldn't mess with that. Yeah, this is a great opportunity. Thank you so much for volunteering, but we need to take 10 down to 3 and go formless, and that would be awesome.
That is great. Are there any more questions. I know we're getting short on time. Brian, this has been fabulous. Would you just go over the top 5 and this is, and you didn't ask for this, but I'm just letting you know that if you do want Brian to have a personal touch on your website, if you're committed to making this work, and guys, the normality that we had prior to COVID, customers, I don't think are going to go back 100% the way they shopped before. The encouraging thing about what I've told my team when all this started, I mean, we have the ability to sell hope now. We're not selling software, whether it's a dealer from New York that reaches out to us and says, #we need you because he's closed, but yet he's taking deposits online. There are things that are happening now that customers are going to be used to shopping a certain way. And we need leadership to be all in. I say this all the time. People are sick of hearing me say it probably, but someone once said, a leader is not measured on what they do, but what people do because of them. So what's your store going to do because of you? So Brian and Glenn have put together this plan. You can reach him offline, get with Brian. They can actually work on your digital marketing plan, making sure, going through your website, doing exactly what he just did, making sure that you have these 5 things and coach you along there. And I think it's next to nothing. It's relatively inexpensive. Again, Brian didn't ask for that, but obviously one of the brightest minds in our space. So thank you so much. Brian, do you want to just elaborate that, since I guess you just pulled that up as I was yapping my gums?
So if you go to brianpasch.com, digital retailing, there is, we're helping dealers 2 months. Dealers hate long-term consulting, and so do I. So we have a one-time fee. We will work to create your brand promise, all your banners, photo overlays, SRP overlays, VDP overlays, work with your website and chat company to move to a formless website, and then help you with your communications scripts in the BDC as well. If you need help with these 5 things, right? The 5 things are, you need to call, you have to have a modern brand promise that talks about the new way to buy a car. Number 2, you have to simplify your CTAs. And the primary CTA should be a color violator. I know someone asked a question. Some manufacturers limit the colors. Hey, listen, I understand, but within any manufacturer's guidelines, you can add a color. It just has to be a color violator. If they don't want green, okay, let it be red if it's the color violator. You need to remove all forms as much as possible, except with a finance app where you're not doing digital retailing. And number 5, you need to have a video marketing strategy. Those 5 elements are part of this digital retailing consultancy that we do. And it's just to help people accelerate their success, because the truth of the matter is there's so many elements. You can't expect someone to be able to handle all things just because they're your digital retailing company. And somebody asked to bring up another site. Okay, I'll just do one more because we have time.
Usually people drop off when it's just me, Brian, because I'm boring, and but we have people engaged.
I'm far from boring. Okay, so love this. Pull you up. Here we are. Look what they're doing. They are telling you how they do business. Home pickup and delivery for service, okay? Sell your car from your couch. That's like a trade-in, okay? But am I seeing, let's go back to the home page for a minute. Am I seeing something as a brand? Like, okay, I'm not seeing we buy cars. I see that's very clear that they want to buy your cars. Okay, let's look at a new car. And here it is. Wonderful, wonderful job here. The primary color violator is green, estimate my payments, and that's taking them into the digital retailing experience. Instant trade-in offer, let's see. Okay, takes me off. I don't really like that. Why? Because, for example, Car Now is integrated with Trade Pending. That can be a conversation. That can be, hey, I'm here to give you an instant trade-in offer. Who am I speaking with, right? That can be a lead capture instead of a distraction. And let's see what else. I'm scrolling down and, okay, I have one of these iframe headaches here. Let's see. Okay, save and ask. Again, the ask here, if you have persistent live chat, I would like to move this up. Estimate my payments or ask me a question. Two things. I mean, this is all this dealer wants. It's like, you want to know if this car is affordable, or ask me a question. And I like this. Super simple, with this one exception that you really don't want on every VDP, summon the distraction. Remember, every banner on this website is about, we want to buy your car. So I'd move up estimate my payment, a second button, ask me a question. And if you want to leave instant trade-in offer, move it to a conversation. Just absolutely get rid of these distracting forms. Have someone say, man, I'm here to help you to get the best price on your trade. Who am I speaking with? So very clean website, just a little tweaks on this. Love that. But we want to call or process something, and we want to go formless. I think that would be awesome. So Tim,
Brian, let me get to two questions really quick that I want to answer. I saw two questions come in. What metrics should you use to judge real digital retailing success? The very short answer is selling cars. And servicing automobiles. You know, the one thing, I don't know if you, I can't see what store this is, but the one thing that our team, or quite frankly, any company's team should measure, you know, Brian said this and I stole this from him. You know, when you get these self-generated reports and you say, hey, you crushed it last month and you had this many VDP clicks and you had this many organic searches and you had all this, none of that matters. You cannot take that to the grocery store and buy grocery. What matters is selling and servicing automobiles. Because remember, digital retailing isn't just about a calculator. It's about starting a conversation. You know, perfect example. We've built some pretty cool things with Facebook, and Bob Lanham gave an example of of Facebook Marketplace. And Facebook Marketplace, in a 20 group setting, he just mentioned the word. One side said, you know, Facebook Marketplace sucks, or one dealer. The other side says it's closing at 80% for us. You're absolutely crazy. The only difference was the one dealer that was closing at 80% was paying attention and was answering all of them at the same time. And it's absolutely going to sell cars that way. If you want to reach me or Brian offline, I'll be happy to unpack that further, but absolutely selling cars, getting people in is how we judge. The other question was about special finance. And this is something that I don't want to go over. This dealer says, hey, we're primarily special finance. This is Sherry. Hi, Sherry. Do you have any different thoughts with that? Now, listen, Brian, this is something that probably is going to come up more. Unfortunately, with as well as the car business is trending up now, we're in a dire situation. There's a lot of millions of Americans have lost their jobs. Yes, we're freezing credit scores in this, but I believe if you're already a special finance store, that is going to be trending up. So you need to put things in place to where you save time. We actually, through those convert now trees, Brian, have a pre-qualify button. We don't want to use all of them. So I would suggest to save everybody time, just like a beautiful example on Betten Baker Honda of that search now. So we're not going to go back to Betten Baker, but you could put a pre-qualify button to where that pulls a soft pull. And then as soon as that soft pull comes out, it literally changes every single price on your, every single payment on your website. So if you had mapped your prices at, tier 1 or tier 2, and that customer happens to be a tier 3, the payment adjusts. So you don't waste time. Everybody on this call that's ever sold a car before has dealt with a customer that thought their credit score was higher. They come in, it's lower. Obviously, it's pretty awkward. So that's how I would eliminate that, allowing artificial intelligence to eliminate that for me. and save both you, the dealer, and the customer time. But again, please reach out to me at tim@carnow.com and or call my cell, and I'll be happy to unpack that further for you.
Yeah, and let me just make a comment, Tim, on special finance. The conversational commerce is huge for special finance. I was trying to remember, there's a dealer in my mentoring group. I just forget their website. I was going to show you this, but if you deal a lot with special finance, I want you to have a button that says challenge credit, we can help. That's what I want the button to say, challenged credit, we can help. And that goes right to a conversation. Hey, this is Brian. I'm here to help you. How may I talk to you? I do not want someone with special finance running through a normal digital retailing tool and get all jammed up. And so if you're an independent used car dealer or do a lot of special fi, I think in those cases, you could have a button that says challenge credit, we can help, and that starts a conversation. That's me.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yep. And then somebody did bring up BMW of Minnetonka. Here's a perfect site. This site is super clean. This is using, I think, the Cox Accelerate product in here, which I have no problem with. My only general thing here is that this payment calculator is based on MSRP, and everyone knows they're not paying for MSRP. That being said, this Getty price, here's the magic for this. Turn this into a conversation. This is an immediate win. Double your real sales opportunities instead of chasing them. Turn that into connect now and walk that person through whatever that, get their contact information, talk to them about the price, and then work the calculator deal with them. Because this calculator at MSRP, right, is likely not going to be reflective of what the selling price of the vehicle is. And so thank you for bringing up this example. If we really are going to make a commitment to digital retailing, we have to serve, not chase. And that's the overall message today.
Brian, thank you so much for your time. I'm just looking at the comments, and my phone actually is blowing up with texts from people that are listening and just things that they can take back. And look, that's what we want to do. We want to, as you can see, there are several examples that are not our tools, some good and some not so good, and we can all learn together, and that's what we want to do right now. So Brian, again, I can't thank you enough. Guys, if you're interested in having Brian, the one and only, do some consulting just for 2 months, very inexpensive, and he could break down your website. And like you said, just adding those AI flows makes a monster difference. Brian, anything before we go?
That's it. And in July at the Digital Marketing Strategies Conference, we are inviting all dealers who have had success with remote retailing, share their stories, best practices. It will be an amazing conference, and we serve great wine. So let's plan on getting the best of the best. If you really want to nail down remote retailing, on Saturday before the conference starts, I'm doing a full day class on marketing and merchandising. My brother Glenn's doing a full day class on communication and email strategies. And of course, Tim and the CarNow team will be there. And we hope their finest customers who have had the greatest success during this COVID crisis will share their stories. So it's digitalmarketingstrategies.org. You can get registered and have
By the way, Brian, I'm going to jump in, and I know people are dropping off, but I'm just going to publicly say, from TIMTALKS, within the next 3 weeks, CarNow, we're going to do some kind of contest. Maybe we pull it out of a hat. Holly Ann, let's figure out some kind of registrant. I want to give away a ticket to DMSC this year, so you can go. Listen, there is July, so hopefully people are going to be flying again. I know they are. They're going to be actually probably the next month and the month after. But we would like to pay for your ticket just as a contest here in TIMTALKS, and we will get those details to you. We would love to take you with us to beautiful Napa Valley.
Come on, let's do it. That's a great thing, Tim.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. God bless you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's Tim Talk. And as always, let's get better together. We'll see you soon.